Everybody, 49. Yeah. So we got to be careful about going with the flow, right? I notice that many people say that, like, oh, I'm going to go with the flow type person. I go with the flow. But what happens is sometimes you overflow and you flow yourself into a situation that you're no longer comfortable with, and it's just not for you. I'll give you a great example of that. Like, I was dealing with somebody, right? And when I first started dealing with the person, it's like, they telling me about their stuff and I'm just going with the flow, like, all right, all right. But then I noticed that I started flowing into some feelings, right? And now the same thing that I was comfortable with in the beginning, I'm not comfortable with because I just kept going with the flow. You don't like, it's okay to start off going with the flow, filling it out. That's awesome and great. However, as things move on and as time progresses and all that stuff, you don't always have to be in that same space, and go with the flow. Stop going with the flow. Some of us overflow. You didn't overflow yourself into a situation. Now you hear like, well, you knew I was who I was when I got here. This is what it is. And no, you start hearing stuff like that because you didn't overflowed. You overflowed. You didn't flowed into some feelings. And now they sitting here trying to tell you, I don't know why you acting like that. Are you crazy? And I had to ask myself, am I crazy? Because it was me. Like, I didn't overflow into some feelings instead of setting boundaries and saying, hey, okay, I no longer like this. This is no longer cool. I didn't float into a situation. A lot of it happens to so many of us. We overflow into a situation. Stop going with the flow, especially if you know that you don't like it. Like, if you start dating somebody, you're seeing somebody and you don't like the fact that they're talking about their ex or whatever they got going on, whatever. If you don't like that, set that boundary. You don't have to listen to that if that's not what you want to hear, but because you're going with the flow, you don't always have to go with the flow because the flow always changes. 49.